Okay, there we
Welcome
go.
everyone to our project closing, which is basically talking about our final items, wrapping up our text-based game that is on a web server. Um, our teammates for this assignment is Lauren Anderson, Antonia Heron, Jordan Johnson, Kamari Shepard, and myself, Sheree White.
Okay, and on today's agenda, we are first going to open up with updates since the week 2. We're going to talk briefly about software changes by me, Kamari Shepard, then documentation by Sheree. Then I'm going to go ahead and speak about the budget. Then we're going to have Lauren talk about the cost schedule and work scope. Then I'm going to speak briefly about the any risks to our project. Then Antonio is going to go ahead and talk about any issues with our stakeholders. Then Antonio is going to be talking about lessons learned, and then any closing actions that we need to do. Sheree will speak about it. Okay. Well, since week 2, we have made our connection to our database now. We currently have 2 functional website versions for our client to choose from. A part of the entry page for users to go ahead and log into the website so that they can access the service is actually on the slide. There was some trouble with the user being able to go from each option and being able to save that along, but that has been fixed. Now we're going to talk about documentation.
Okay, so for the documentation in regards to our text-based game, we did provide documentation throughout the semester, which gave in reference to the project schedule as well as the cost and the scopes of what we were dealing with our text-based game. In that we were able to determine what goals we were trying to implement, what was the objectives of it, and what audience we were trying to target, as well as who would be our stakeholders into basically inquiring into our application for the text-based game. And then next we'll go into the budget.
Okay. There was another sponsor to come in to provide us with additional funding for us to increase our budget by 4.4% from the initial $14,000 to nearly $15,000. Okay. Next slide. And now we have the cost schedule and work scope.
So for our status, our total budgeted costs, as Kamari said, increased by 4.4%. Our trends, we started seeing trends on a weekly base. So basically for our weekly profit, it increased by 57%. And by week 3, we experienced a decrease of 13.3% in earned value. And for our variance, but also by week 3, we experienced a variance of 21% between the actual cost and our earned costs. Our status, around week 1, the first week and the second week, we saw the numbers by 9,678, and then by week 3 it decreased to 5,478. We do realize that there is a 13.3 difference in profit since between the weeks. Next slide. As you can see throughout the charts, this is the difference between the weeks. So on week 1, we did see a raise, and also in week 2 it started to raise. However, kind of like in the midweek of week 2, it started to go down to the number where it's at now for week 3, which is at 4,466.
All right. There was 2 instances where we lost our access to the internet, which caused several hours worth of downtime for us. This resulted in our workers not being able to work during that time. To remedy this, we went ahead and we assigned overtime for our workers to go ahead and do the work once the problem was resolved. For the access to the website and monitoring of our database, our admin had actually lost system privileges. So we had to reach out to our web hosting organization to go ahead and update that. That took around two days to get back a confirmation so they could change the status. Thankfully, that has been therefore fixed. Then we had a problem with unauthorized users being able to sign up and therefore access the service upon logging in. This should not, as part of the scope document, was not supposed to occur. So we went ahead and we implemented a new event trigger to go ahead and stop users that were trying to log in with data not taken from the college, so that they would not be able to access the service unless they were legitimate students. Stakeholder?
When the server is down or the internet is down, it puts more of a strain on our work employees, giving them more of a workload, which causes a delay in the current and future contracts of other projects. In the end, the increase in the earned value are not equaling up to the actual cost of what the project was initially projected to be. Yeah.
Okay, so for lessons learned, this is basically what we learned from the text-based and the outcomes that we learned throughout it. So first we have discussed, within this, we were discussing like service provider, giving us available options within to enable our network, because currently how Kamari talked about, during those 2 weeks when the internet was down, we need to have those options so that when stuff or situations happen like that, we're able to find alternative solutions so that they're able to work and they're not behind on what they need to complete for this text-based game, as well as just implementing it for our users as well. If we do use it on a university or college campus, making sure that they have a strong signal as well, so that when situations on their campus happen and occur, that they also are able to get in contact with our text-based game on their web server. And then as well as going into the sign. So basically increasing like sign positions for everyone. This would be maybe adding more team members to the text-based game and different roles that they need, because it can be overwhelming and overload for just one person to have. So assigning more team members, as well as maybe different people taking on multiple roles to help each other out when it comes to be too much work for one person. And then allotting, so basically non-key personnel to to remote to basically decrease costs. So this is like giving the option for our team members as well to basically decrease costs and operation costs, finding a remote option for people or our team members so that way it's not too much on our budget and it decrease costs. So this is good for us so that if we need to put in more work or more research on our text-based game that we're able to do so because we are able to allot that time to remote as an alternative. Next slide.
And our final action is needed to finish the project or collect and distribute initial payment. We could give out bonuses to those who participated more towards the project, those who had a greater part in the works of the project. And in addition to that, subtract payment depending on the participants' participation. And to inform stakeholders of closing the project because overall stakeholders hold a part of the company. And 3, collect peer evaluation reports for cumulative review.
And this concludes our presentation for our project. We do appreciate you all coming and listening to our presentation. Once again, thank you. And if you do have any further questions or details in regards to our text-based game, please do not hesitate to contact us with any comments, concerns, or questions to myself or the team. Thank you and have a nice day.